Welcome back to the channel, folks. This is Jason, host of Fighting Words Financial. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about another stock here that's been on my radar a little bit, and it was brought up by the folks that are in my Patreon group. So, if you guys didn't know, I have a Patreon thing going on right now. Check out in the video description or in the comments. I'll leave a link to it there. So, there's been no doubt this year that EV stocks, along with genomic stocks, have been the hottest and most explosive things on the stock market in the last year. And now, with some degree of clarity on the political front, the EV industry looks like it's going to continue to prosper through 2021. But this one stock has been brought to my attention over the past few weeks. And once again, like I said, that's by folks on my Patreon. Now, its recent IPO went for a low price of, I think, $15.25 a share. And that's kind of surprising in a couple of ways, considering how much hype EV companies have gotten and the potential that this company might have. Now, it seems like everybody and their dog these days is making an electric vehicle, and there's companies popping up everywhere. So why talk about another EV company and why this one in particular? Well, this one is unique, folks, and let me be clear. I'm not really all that interested in the cars that they're producing. I'm interested in a unique business innovation or business strategy that they've decided to pursue. The stock I wanted to talk about, like I said, is Canoo. It's an EV company based out of Torrance, California, and they're publicly traded under the symbol GOEV. They went public via Special Purpose Acquisition Company, or SPAC. And let's face it, there's a lot of new EV investment opportunities out there and a lot of what I call spectacular investment opportunities. So let's be cautious here, okay? Now, Canoo is an early stage public company, and they're not expected to make profits for quite some time. But Canoo's vehicles really aren't your average electric sports sedan that so many people seem to be concentrated on, or a crossover SUV like other companies are focusing on. And that really seems to be one of the things that is unique about them. They're a niche player, and they're targeting like van-like and multi-purpose vehicles. I think it's important to mention that they have some interesting customer service and financial features that I've talked about before on this channel that could draw a lot of attention. I've talked before about the very idea of car ownership being disrupted at some point by a subscription model, and Canoo offers a solution that sounds a lot like the beginnings of something like that. It's a month-to-month subscription-based membership plan that includes registration, maintenance, insurance, and charging. It frees users from many of the headaches of annoyances that come with ownership or even leasing. This means that instead of paying the full cost for an electric vehicle up front, hunting insurance, all while maintaining your vehicle and worrying about how much it's going to charge you, it's going to cost to charge EV every month, Canoo's subscription-based system is going to enable the subscriber as a one-stop solution for every part of the driving experience without having to go to multiple vendors. At least on paper, Canoo expects to generate higher profit margins than a company that just sells and finances the vehicles. Now, I've long been a proponent of the future of car ownership that Canoo is promoting, but one question I have is this the right moment? There have been a lot of great ideas in the past, technologically speaking, or maybe customer service innovation speaking, and they never really took off because they were too early in the adoption curve, or they simply missed their moment. So let's evaluate whether or not this is the right time for an idea like this to take off. Let's take into consideration how high the demand for electric vehicles is today and how much more likely it is to grow in the future. With current federal and state level incentives and the apparent cultural shift towards a sustainable energy economy, the EV industry is sure to thrive for some time. Canoo's executive chairman, Tony Aquila, recently stated that demand is so high and it's only going to grow. When you think about 3 or 4 generations from now, we're going to be 80% electric vehicles and only 20% fossil fuel vehicles. Now, this is the future that I can certainly get on board with. Companies like Apple also appear to be stepping into the EV ring with the rumored iCar. And the entry of new and well-financed players like Apple may actually stimulate the EV industry instead of serving as the figurative Attila the Electric Hun and laying waste to all other companies before them. There's even a rumor that Canoo was in negotiations last year to partner with Apple on something, and the rumor is again that those talks started back up. I don't want to say that this is a rumor for them to produce the iCar. It's not. There's something else going on there. Canoo does not have any of their own manufacturing facilities that would be necessary to create something like an Apple iCar. But they are in talks to partner with something. No one knows exactly what that is right now. But instead of serving as destructive competition for many current and popular EV manufacturers, Apple's entry into the EV world could provide needed stimulation for innovative software technologies, customer service improvements, and other services for competitor EV companies as they try to find ways to prosper and survive. Canoo is actually a primary example of a company that's taking that next step in innovation with their subscription-based model. From an aesthetic standpoint, each of their announced vehicles is different than your average minivan or delivery vehicle offering, and there's a purpose behind that design. With their sharp and clean design, interior space is maximized, and if you're sitting inside of one of these vehicles, you're going to have that feeling of SUV roominess, while this vehicle actually has the same footprint as a compact car. Instead of being mounted on the usual dashboard that you might see on most cars, almost all of Canoo's non-driving features such as navigation, music, heating, environmental controls, all that stuff can be controlled by the user's smartphone. Ultimately, this implementation will reduce the amount of clutter inside of the vehicle and make the car simplistically clean with fewer things to break. Currently, there are 2 announced vehicles that are planned to be released as early as 2022. The first of the pack is the self-titled Canoo vehicle. The Canoo has a range of 250 miles and offers a 28-minute charge time for an 80% charge. The vehicles are built in a structured design to provide spatial comfort and style and luxury for their 7-seat capacity in a compact package. There's even a fold-out table for the sofa in the back seat. Unfortunately, right now, there's no price listed yet for the Canoo subscription, and they've only expressed plans for it to be available through their subscription program. Canoo's second offering is a vehicle designed for delivery purposes. Canoo's multi-purpose delivery vehicle offers efficient cargo transportation compared to internal combustion counterparts and is quite easy to maintain. This vehicle could be a significant asset for commercial industries looking to electrify a fleet, and they are looking to compete with several other companies that are looking to get into this space as well. There's currently 2 different versions of the vehicle, the MPDV1 and the MPDV2. Each of these vehicles has different specifications based on height, weight capacity, and travel range per charge. The current listed starting price for each of these vehicles is only $33,000. I don't know of any other company that's offering a delivery vehicle like this, at least a delivery vehicle in this class at this price point. If I'm wrong about this, let me know in the comments below. I'd be glad to check that out. So, what's next for Canoo stock? How will Canoo perform once they actually start selling the vehicles? So what comes next, of course, are forward-looking statements from this company themselves, from their website. So some degree of healthy skepticism is definitely warranted. Now, Canoo predicts revenue in 2024 to be around $1.43 billion. Canoo's first profit is expected to occur once they surpass about $188 million a year in revenue. That seems shockingly low to me, and it probably means that that number is not really accounting for what's going to have to be sunk into CapEx if demand for their vehicle or their product actually explodes. Canoo's outstanding stock has a current valuation of right around $3.5 billion. Given that this company had only recently had its IPO, there isn't really much of a track record when it comes to the trading of their stock, so I'm not really going to comment any further on that. If expectations of the EV industry continue to escalate, Canoo stands to benefit, at least in the rising tides lifts all boats kind of manner. Now, I don't normally give price targets on this channel, and that's not going to change today, and I don't do that for a variety of reasons, but occasionally I think it's useful to talk about them. Some analysts are predicting or have price target estimates for Canoo stock of around $30 sometime in the next 12 months or so. I'm not sure that that's reasonable, even if they are able to bring a vehicle and their subscription service online in 2022 as expected. As we distance ourselves to a degree from the investor mania of the last year, stock price expectations will start to fall closer in line with target prices from analysts as all stocks take a little bit of a breather from the hype and start to revert back to fundamentals. So let me bottom line it for you. With Canoo's vehicle niche and their innovative subscription approach, it may not be in fact their vehicles that take off, but rather their subscription service that takes off. I think it's actually pretty important to consider the subscription service separate from their vehicle offering. particularly if they find a way to wrap other companies into their, integrate other new electric vehicle manufacturers into their subscription service. I can imagine a future where a software and service company offers vehicles from a dozen different manufacturers on a subscription basis. And maybe these are, a dozen different small manufacturers located here in the United States. Now, vehicle subscription has been tried in the past with little success, but some of that may have simply been because the moment wasn't right. Kind of like the several failed experiments in electric vehicle battery swapping before NIO provided the first commercially successful example of a battery swapping service. I think that Canoo has a shot at being a different kind of player in the EV industry with their subscription service. I'm actually more intrigued by this financial and service innovation than I am by their vehicle lineup. I think that it's worth keeping an eye on this company, especially after they go live with this subscription service sometime in 2022. I should probably disclose at this point that I don't hold any Canoo stock at this point, and I'm actually not looking to add them to my portfolio anytime soon, but I am going to be keeping a close eye on them. I want to see how this works. Anyway, folks, those are just my thoughts today on Canoo. Feel free to tell me how wrong you think I am in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.